It's Trial Tuesday once again. Today we're discussing security guards and how they use weapons. Attorney David Ayler, a qualified marksman when it comes to the courtroom himself, joins us to talk about one case specifically and why these cases in general can sometimes be difficult to prosecute. Counselor, thank you so much for coming back on the program. Great to see you as always.
Glad to be here.
Well, let's talk about this. It happened in the Lowcountry not too long ago. We had a gentleman who was at a bar, went to his car, got a gun, began firing, and a security officer who was also armed began firing back.
Right. This was over on Dorchester Road, establishment called Willie's. Essentially what is understood to have happened is there was some sort of argument situation that occurred with inside the bar. This individual or individuals then left, went and got the car, went to their vehicle and got the gun, then started shooting back towards the establishment, at which time the security guard came out and shot back.
So are security officers who are working the door or working inside one of these bars or clubs, are they allowed to carry? Are they allowed to have weapons?
Well, if they're SLED certified, they are allowed, and there are a lot of establishments that do use that type of security guards. Other ones just have, a bigger guy up at the front checking IDs. Really just depends on where you are and what the owners or managers prefer. However, you do see them used sometimes for this reason, of course, because really trying to defend themselves as well as the patrons in the establishment. Because the key is, it's not so much that these people bring the weapons into the establishments. They're usually wanded and checked when they come in the door.
Sure.
It's the fact that they get upset, then they go out to their vehicle, and that's where they're keeping the weapons.
Well, let's talk about several different issues. I'm not sure if they fit in the castle doctrine as well as standing your ground. It would seem that, if someone was coming at you with a gun and you have one on you and you're SLED certified, you can indeed fire back.
Absolutely, to protect yourself and others. It's defensive, for yourself and the defense of others, and that would be the other people in the parking lot, perhaps, or the establishment itself. What you have to look at, though, some issues that some of these establishments have is what type of security they have, whether or not that security themselves are using aggressive tactics, maybe something that goes over the line, similar to when you see police conduct that some would accuse as going over the line to aggressive, excessive force, per se, but also looking at it from a civil side.
Well, let's talk about this case specifically. Do you think that the security guard involved there is going to face any charges, or was he just doing his job and trying to protect himself and others in the club?
Well, from what I've heard so far, he only was returning fire, so you would have to believe that in that situation he would not. What you may look at, though, is whether or not the person who originally was shooting first, person who left the establishment, got their weapon, were they overserved? What was the situation there? Because there's civil liabilities involved, too, because you do have people that are injured. They do look back to the bar from that angle. And I know I've been involved in cases before, and you have to look at whether or not that person was overserved, at which point maybe they started acting erratically. It doesn't just have to be driving. It can be a physical altercation or even a weapon like this.
Well, that's the thing, is that these establishments kind of put these gentlemen, sometimes ladies, in charge of security and kind of give them authority. Do you think that sometimes they overstep those boundaries, especially if someone has a gun?
Well, I think sometimes they do. Also, I think that it just depends on what security company you hire. If you get a SLED certified one that has a reputation, then just like any other company, there's a lot of great ones in town, and you can find those if you're looking. But you'd have to make sure that who you hire is competent, because when you have people that are drinking, sometimes emotions run high, and there are situations that happen. But what these establishments end up doing often when these type of things occur, if they can show they did everything they could to prevent it, then they're okay. However, if their bartenders are over-serving, the bouncers are not there, they're not equipped enough with the right amount of people, or they let people in that have caused problems in the past. These are all liabilities I've personally seen in cases that end up putting the bar or the restaurant and the insurance company on the hook.
Certainly an interesting case, and one we'll be following here on Lowcountry Live. Attorney David Ayler, thanks for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
As always, stay with us. More Lowcountry Live after the break.
Trial Tuesday, brought to you by attorney David Ayler.